Today I'm going to give y'all my first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 in 2023. Now, for those of you that think I'm late to the party, I'm not late to the party. I had no intention of even picking up this device at all. Okay, I wasn't. I saw it, for a really, really good price. It was really cheap, and I decided to grab it, check it out. Now, this is refurbished from Amazon, and I got it for a really, really good price. So I decided to check it out. And, of course, I got the Z Fold 2, and I have the original Galaxy Fold. So, of course, there is a difference between those devices, and I'll get to that, and when I do my full review. But I just want to give you my first impressions. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, I'm impressed. First of all, burgundy is one of my favorite colors, and I love the color of this device. I've never had a burgundy device. I've had burgundy, cases, but never an actual burgundy phone. I love the way the cameras look. It's very obvious they're bigger than that of the Z Fold 2. I love the way this feels in the hand. It feels ultra premium. Forget super premium, ultra premium. I mean, wow. And this cover display is definitely noticeably wider than that of the the Z Fold 2. But we're going to get all to that, all right? Now, this is factory unlocked for all carriers. Love the color, build quality. Now, the phone feels more refined. That's the best way I could put it compared to that of the Z Fold 2. Both are clearly premium devices as far as build is concerned. But this feels even more premium. And you'd have to hold this in your hand without a case to fully understand what I'm saying and compare it to, say, if you got the Z Fold 2 or the Z Fold 3, then you'll understand what I mean. Now, it does have armor aluminum frame that's supposed to be tougher against drops and have better scratch resistance. So, and I'm telling you, it feels luxurious. I mean, maybe that's a good word to use. It feels luxurious. And I'll give it to Samsung. They know how to build devices. Like, when they make their flagships, they really know how to build devices, honestly. I'll give that to them. Now, the hinge is actually a little smaller, too, than that of the Z Fold 3. When you look at it this way, it doesn't protrude as much. So it's actually smaller, and it definitely feels better even when you're opening the device. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's definitely an improved hinge on the Z Fold 4. Now, it's also IPX8 water resistance, which you don't get on the Z Fold 2. If that matters, that's not going to matter to everybody because everybody don't have their phone around water. This is also S Pen compatible. Not a big deal for me, only because I barely use the S Pen on my Note 20 Ultra, so I won't be buying the S Pen for this. It's just not necessary because I'm not going to be using it like that, and I don't want to have to buy a big bulky S Pen case to put on this phone. I'm not doing that. Okay, of course you have your always on display. You got a slightly wider cover display, which is clearly a little bit wider than that of the 2. Now let me pull out my Z Fold 2 so you can see. Now, you should be able to see whether this has a case. I mean, this has a case on it. This doesn't. But you should be able to see that this is clearly a wider device. This is a little taller and it's skinnier, and this is a little bit wider, which definitely makes, for me, viewing content and doing different things on this a lot easier. I mean, it really does, especially when it comes to texting. It makes texting that much easier. It really does. Let me see. See the keyboard? Let me bring up the keyboard on the Z Fold 2. And it definitely makes a difference. Now, I know for everybody, it's not going to be a big deal, but it's a big deal for me. And I don't have really large hands, but you should be able to see the difference in the keyboard, how everything is slightly, it's wider. Everything is a little bit bigger. makes it easier to type. So I definitely love this cover display. And what it does is causing me to not have to open a device all the time like I always did on this. I always had to open up to the bigger display because the front display was just a little bit too narrow for me. But this allows me, because it's wider, it allows me to open up the inner display a lot less. So when you use the inner display a lot less, of course, you're going to use a lot less battery. Keep that in mind. All right. So I do like that cover display being a little wider. All right. Of course, you got 120 hertz refresh rate on the cover display. Now that you don't have that, you only have 60 hertz on the Z Fold 2 for those of you that, something like that matters. But I mean, I like it. It was not a necessary thing, but it's nice to have it because that's a true upgrade, having faster and smoother scrolling speed. So that's nice that you have it now on the outer. Of course, you already had it on the inner display with the Z Fold 2, but now you have it on the cover display as well. You also have Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the cover display as well. So just Gorilla Glass Victus on this one, I believe. Or no, I think this one may be Gorilla Glass. I'm not sure. I don't remember with the Z Fold 2, honestly. I don't remember. But this definitely has a stronger Gorilla Glass with Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. Also, with you have a brighter inner display. So now you're getting 1200 nits peak brightness. Now I don't remember what this one was, but it's clearly not as bright as this one. I'll hold both of them up for you. I'll open both of them up. So you can see, you should be. Now I don't have this on max brightness because I don't need to, honestly, but I do have the Z Fold 3 and max brightness. Now you should definitely be able to tell that this is brighter. You should be able to see that easily. Definitely a brighter display, but this is fine, to be able to see, but this is definitely brighter. And y'all know I like brighter displays. Now this display here is slightly taller than the Z Fold 4. I didn't notice that before until now, but just slightly, not that big of a deal. All right, of course, you got Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1. This is going to be upgradable to Android 16. This one came with 512 gigs of internal storage, which I absolutely was one of the reasons why I picked it up. 512 as opposed to 256. I need 512. I need a terabyte, but 512, 512 is good. I know those 1 terabyte ones don't stick around very long. People pick those up pretty quickly. Dual stereo speakers tuned by AKG. You got your side mounted fingerprint sensor, which I'm not a big fan of. I prefer in-display fingerprint sensors. And of course, I know there's people out there that prefer the side mounted one that's more convenient, better for them. Everything doesn't apply to everybody. Some people like, the side mounted. Some people prefer in display. I prefer in display because I always have to end up hitting the fingerprint sensor twice or 3 times just to get it to open because my finger just never places correctly on the fingerprint sensor. So it's usually never open on the first try, and that really annoys me. So sometimes I'll just use the face unlock too, because that just annoys me. All right, of course, you got face unlock, Samsung DeX, 4400 milliamp hour battery. Of course, this phone is still learning my behavior patterns. So in about a week or so, when I do my full review, I'll let you know how the battery is compared to that of the Z Fold 2. You got 25 watt fast charging, which is not changed from the Z Fold 2. 15 watt wireless charging, 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging. Pretty much the same. I think this one still has only 10 watt wireless charging. I'll have to check again. But this has 15 watts, which is still not fast compared to the competition out there. And with the cameras, you got a 50 megapixel wide dual pixel with optical image stabilization, a 10 megapixel telephoto, with optical image stabilization and 3x optical zoom, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. And you can shoot video 8K 24 frames per second, 4K 30 and 60, 1080p 30 and 60, and with the selfie camera on the inside, you got a 4 megapixel under the display camera. Now, what I will say about this is that since I've been using it, I have not seen that camera. They hit it extremely well. And I know they started that with the Z Fold 3, but sometimes you can see it, but on this one, you can't see it at all. I mean, they really hit it well. Of course, on the Z Fold 2, you could clearly see it. Well, the wallpaper just changed, but when it's not black up there, you can clearly see it. It's not, hiding, but you're going to get better quality with one that's, that this one as opposed to this one. And of course, I'm going to put that to the test, but I've seen so many camera samples of people that taking pictures with the, the inner display. I mean, the inner camera on the inner display, and the quality is not good. It's pretty blurry, but it's nice having not to see it, when I'm watching content, even though it didn't bother me on this one. I got used to it, but not having just all screen and no, camera cutout, it's cool. I really like that. All right, and on the front, you have the 10 megapixel wide cover display that shoots at 4K 30 and 60 and 1080p at 30 and 60. So I'll say again, I'm definitely impressed with this device. The build on it, that's probably the first thing I noticed was the build. The way this phone feels in the hand, it's just, oh my goodness. Like I said, ultra premium, luxurious, everything you could, it's all that. Seriously, all that. I love it. I love it. Love this color. Love the way it feels. It runs pretty well, nice and smooth. Yeah, everything is great, honestly, so far. But give me about a week or two, and I'll give you my full review. I gotta go take some photos, some video samples, and stuff like that. And of course, the software is pretty much the same right now. Actually, the Z Fold 2 is supposed to be getting Android 14 and also One UI 6.0, the same as this. So the software is going to be identical. Only thing is different is the few things that I mentioned. So thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Hope everybody out there is staying safe, staying well, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.